AI is really still at the very beginnings of what we can do in technology. We can talk a lot about the data center. I usually start there. But I did spend some time talking about AI PCs. And I'm very excited about this continuum of AI products as you go from cloud to edge to PC, and really trying to get sort of the user experience such that everybody has AI somewhere in their lives.
Help me with my skepticism here, though,
Sure.
on the AI PC itself, because it seems like this latest boom in interest in AI and some of the economic activity came out of OpenAI's ChatGPT release, and investors really started to realize, okay, this is going to be big. See it happening in the data center. But when we start talking about inferencing and the client side, I don't see my kids saying, oh, I need a new AI PC to run this new AI version of Fortnite. Right? They're still asking for the graphics cards, AMD, where AMD plays, to do the same kind of things before. So do we need to see new software that's putting demands on the hardware in a new way before the AI PC gets momentum, if it does?
Yeah, well, let me take a step back, John, and kind of tell you, describe a little bit of how I see the market evolving. So true, like, ChatGPT and all of these large language models have showed us that you can get access to a tremendous amount of capability with all of the training and inferencing that you do in the cloud. But it turns out that people really have a lot of personal data, and the way you want, you use your PC, it's actually a personal productivity tool. So what I see is that we're at the beginning of the era where we can make much, much more capable personal assistants in the PC form factor. And things like, I can ask my PC, when was the last time I saw John Fort? What did we talk about? Remind me what he was interested in. Those types of things, which today I'd have to spend, probably an hour looking through like all kinds of things. That's one example. Actually, on the South by Southwest stage today, we showed a really good example of doing text to image where you could do it locally. So you don't have to connect to the cloud. You can do it right in your own PC. And again, these are things that as the technology gets better, I am absolutely sure that everyone's going to want an AI PC.
Also on stage, you're joined by Weta, the really high-end special effects creators. Does the AI PC, to your point about text to image, really catch on with professionals first and in their iteration of ideas, and then that filter through the way it has with so many other graphics-powered capabilities?
I do think that there is a thing about expert users will start first. So we actually had David Connolly on stage from Weta FX. Actually, big congratulations to them. They won an Oscar last night for War is Over. That was entirely rendered on AMD technology, so we were very excited about that. But what you see is, again, for whether you're a Hollywood, movie studio, or you're a content creator, or you're just a, sort of a regular person who has lots and lots of data, AI can help you sift through that, can help you use it in a more productive way, can take things that used to take, days or hours, and you can reduce it to, minutes in terms of finding things, whether it's text to image or now you saw, text to video. It's really an opportunity to just become much, much more productive. And, the technology that we're putting in today's PCs, I'd like to say that we've had CPUs, GPUs, now we have AI accelerators that are there just to make it much more powerful in very small form factors.
So now that we've talked a bit about the PC, let's broaden out, because a lot of the analyst world has been abuzz for the past several weeks about this $400 billion total addressable market for AI-related technology that you laid out. Again, my job to approach these things skeptically. We just went through this pandemic period where we saw this huge surge in demand for PCs, for e-commerce, for goods, and a lot of companies said, oh, this is going to continue up and to the right, and it didn't. So how can we be sure this is an exception?
So, John, the way I think about AI, and you've heard this from others, is AI is actually the most important technology that we've seen over the last 50 years. It's arguably the most important. And when you think about what it can do for enterprises, for all of us, for research, for development, all of that capability, you need more compute. Now, most people would say they've been really surprised at just how AI has taken off over the last 12 or 14 months. It is true. We've taken a technology that has been around for a while, but was frankly very difficult to use. And we've turned it into something where everybody on the planet can use AI technology, because it's language-based and you don't have to be a programmer, you don't have to be an expert, you can just ask the AI what to do. Now, the truth is, AI is still in its infancy, so we're still at a place where we know that it will get better. Like, we know that you can make these models better. We know that you can make this inference faster. We know that we can make it more accessible. So I do see a place where we're going to see tremendous growth over the next 3, 4, 5 years. We are super excited about the partnerships that we have in AI, in the cloud, and really trying to deliver all of that infrastructure, as well as in the edge and in the client form factors.
Speaking of partnerships, one of those is with Microsoft, which has been using AMD chips in the cloud. I like to look at the calendar. We marked 10 years since Satya Nadella was named CEO of Microsoft back in February. It's going to be 10 years since you were named CEO of AMD in October. And, I was also looking at the stock chart. We were around $3 a share on AMD when you came in, just shy of 200 today. It's pretty good. Also to note about those two tenures, data center has been key. Satya Nadella's Azure and work there that transitioned from server and tools into cloud. And then your work, I think when you came in, 90% of AMD revenues were in PC. In fiscal 23, less than half. Okay? So why was data center for both of these companies, in retrospect, so important over the last decade?
Well, I will say, it's been a great 10 years. It feels like it's not been that long, but one of the things that's most important with every company is to decide what you're best at. And you're absolutely right. AMD has always been a very good company. But frankly, we needed to decide what we were best at. And back then, the bet was high-performance computing. When it may not have been the sexiest part of the business, I fundamentally believed that high-performance computing was going to be the most important technology trend for us going forward for the next 5 to 10 years. I think we've seen that. We've seen data center become much, much more important. You've seen cloud become more important. It's really difficult to build these chips. We talk about, sort of new Zen 4 and Zen 5 cores. We talk about chiplet technologies. We talk about, our MI300, our latest AI chip has 150 billion transistors. So these are hard technologies. But once you put them together, you realize how much they really drive, sort of computing overall. So yes, look, we love PCs. I can talk to you all day about that. But we also see a world where high performance technology really is the most important ingredient for solving some of the world's most important problems, and frankly, working with some of the most important partners out there. And so I'm very pleased with the progress that we've made. And data center is a place where you need the biggest iron, and it's hard to build these systems.
So since you frame it that way, I have to ask you, what is your least popular current important bet? Since everybody else is caught up on high performance computing.
Well, the beauty of our portfolio now is it's a very broad portfolio. We are in the largest data centers. We are in the client devices. We also have a very broad embedded portfolio. So I'm super happy with the acquisition of Xilinx. We just passed the 2-year anniversary where we brought in an incredible embedded portfolio, 6,000 new customers. We're in the Mars rover. I didn't say it's my least favorite. We're in the Mars rover. We're in lots of cars.
Your least favorite. I'm saying your most underestimated piece of your portfolio strategically.
I think the most underestimated piece, John, is how all of these pieces come together. So it is not about just what you do in the data center or just what you do at the edge or what you do in the PC. It's the fact that we are one of the very few companies that have all of the pieces. So we have all of the compute engines that you need to optimize for your application. And I don't know that people really understand that. They don't understand necessarily yet how cloud influences client. That's going to become a lot clearer over the next several years. I'm very excited by that, by the way, because when you think about where technology is going, as much as the largest data centers in the world are filled with these high performance computing chips, you realize that there's so many other places, and if we can get these systems really integrated synergistically. And that's why when you ask me, you're a skeptic about AI PCs, I would love to talk to you a year from now and see how you feel about it. Because I feel really that this is probably one of the most important inflection points for the PC form factor, and this is how people are going to experience AI at a personal level.
You talk about vertical integration, it makes me think of Supermicro, which is a company that you've known well for a long time, but they were like a specialty muscle car maker, and now, in part because of AI, they've gone mainstream, and a lot of people are wondering, is this high-performance computing wave changing the overall demand, mass market demand for hardware, where performance and that kind of integration that they're doing, and it sounds like you're talking about for AMD in a different plane, is just going to be mainstream?
Well, we love the partnerships that we have. Supermicro is a great partner. Dell is a great partner. Lenovo, HP Enterprise. We work with all of these guys. But I think what's different with computing today is there is a need for lots of different types of solutions. So as you think about the hardware solutions, it's not just one size fits all. And the fact is, people are willing to invest ahead of the curve in AI. When you looked, 4 or 5 years ago, yes, infrastructure was important, but now, like, AI is essential. Like, every boardroom is talking about how you use AI. Every nation state is talking about how you use AI. And so people are willing to invest ahead of the curve. And, our job is, frankly, to make sure that, there's more supply out there, the opportunity to work closely with our partners to give you lots of different solutions depending on what you're trying to do. And, I think it's a good time to be in computing.
Alright guys, this is the part of the video where I break down the stocks that were mentioned in the CNBC clip. So with it being an AMD interview, of course we're going to start with AMD. If you're new here, this is a 200-day moving average in dark green, and then we have a 21-day moving average in light blue. You can see right off the bat, AMD, very strong, consistent uptrend stock. It did put in a high and sold off, just like just about everything in the market. But what did it do? Made that support a resistance and blasted off ever since then. Now we have had the last 2 days, Friday and now Monday, we've had a sell-off in the chip sector. 13.5% guys in 2 days on AMD. So it is kind of looking bearish as of right now. We're still above the 21-day and well above the 200-day. We might even come back and retest the support level. So AMD does look like it's on its way to maybe 190, maybe 180. The momentum, I don't think, is going to be able to let the stocks fall what they're technically supposed to come back to their support and resistance. There's so much hype in the AI and the chip makers right now, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't even hit the 21, or if the 21 is as far as it goes, so 190, and then blast all the way back up. Let's take a look at every bar being 1 week on the weekly chart, make the picture a little more clear. So you can see the massive cup and handle, extremely bullish pattern. Not only do we have a topping candle, now we have a topping weekly candle, which does not look too good. Best case scenario with all this momentum, we could still just have a consolidation and we can come back up from here. Or worst case scenario, we could come back down to 180, guys. That's probably where our first stop is going to be if we don't hold some dollars around here. Let's go in and break it down closely. See if we can find out what dollar it needs to break. Alright, so it's got its support in here. If it breaks 196.75, guys, it's probably got a ways down to at least 180. I'd say 180 is probably going to be the level. It's got a whole bunch of resistance turn support right there. And then it can easily just snap back and regain that 21-day moving average and keep going higher, guys. These stocks have so much pent-up demand that the supply is a lot less than what the demand is, and it's going to be like that for the next couple years. So they've got pricing power, and they're in one of the best positions you can be in with a high profit margin business. The SPY closed 0.09% down today, and the Qs closed 0.37% down. AMD closed 4.3% down, so as you can see, it way underperformed the market by over 4% down. We'll have to watch it around 190, see if it holds this 21, or else watch out for 180, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure and like it, smash that subscribe button if you haven't already, and share it if you know somebody that's interested in these videos so I can grow the channel. I appreciate you watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.